Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gaby U Show. I am your host, Gaby Udobor. And so today I have an amazing guest, Ify Ikekhua. And before we get started, I'm going to introduce her a little bit here. So, Ify Ikekhua is a take charge kind of woman. Her authenticity, intelligence, and determination are hallmarks of her personality. Ify is a transformational speaker, a coach, and trainer with the John Maxwell Team. She is a wife, a mother, an ambassador for domestic violence, and the author of her first book, Take Dominion. In this book, Ify shares her life experience from being raised in Nigeria to relocating in the United States, only to find herself in an abusive marriage. But her story does not end there. She found purpose right in the middle of what seemed to be the darkest season of her life. Ify believes you already have the power within you to dominate every situation you encounter, and her life is a living testament to that. Welcome, Ify.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so happy to have you here today. So, Ify, we are going to go right into our questions. And so, the first thing I'm going to ask you, this we'll call the icebreaker. Okay. So, my first thing is, what is your favorite food?
Uh, Now that's a hard one. I would say the Nigerian fried rice.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. That's my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. My kids they like the red rice, which in Nigeria we call it jollof rice.
Right.
So they're like, "Ah, are you cooking the yellow rice or the red rice?" Yeah, when you cook that fried rice, really good. It tastes really good, spicy and all this stuff. Yeah,
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
And so, what would you say is your favorite quotes? Because you know me and you, we love quotes so much. You know how quotes is so helpful in our lives. So,
Well, I have a lot, but the one I would go with is the
mm,
one by Maya Angelou that says, "There is no greater agony than
mm.
carrying an untold story inside of you."
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and when I think about this quote,
Mm,
we're talking about women empowerment, right? One
yes.
thing that really establishes you as
Mm,
launch out in this, what I say, empowerment space is the
yes.
fact that you have to tell your story, you have to share. That's what
Mm,
makes you authentic, that's what makes you
yes.
relatable. When you fail to share your story, then what you do is you fail to express yourself. And as a result, you
Mm,
suppress your voice. And
yes.
as a result of that, you also become depressed, right?
Mm,
So that expression is taken away from you. And she said it so perfectly because
mm,
nothing as burdening like a story that you've not shared with everybody else. And when you fail
yes.
to share your story, what happens is that you give that experience power and authority over you. That's what
Mm,
happens.
yes.
And then we're so concerned about what people will say when we share our story.
Mm,
And we forget that what other people think of us is really none of our business. You were not
yes.
born to manage other people's emotions. You were
That's
born to
right.
walk in freedom. And when you tell your story, you walk in freedom, you walk in liberty. So for me,
Yes.
that resonates so well with me because that's why I wrote the book, Take Dominion. It was my story that I
Yes.
told. Yes.
Oh, that is so good. And that's the thing I feel too. And as I shared with you, if you guys are listening here, that when you listen to my first episode, it was one of the things I had to share a difficult story. I'm happy that I'm, thriving right now, but, I went through that thing that's supposed to have scarred me. But I'm glad that I'm where I am right now. I overcame it, and sharing the story actually kind of took away that weight out, and which is something you're like what you said, your when you wrote your book, and sharing your story, because those things, I mean, I know they're painful, but the thing is, in everything that happened in our lives there is a reason, and sometimes it's just not it's so unfair why it happened, but we can find a reason and walk around it, and doing something beautiful out of it. Talking
Absolutely.
about moving from victim to victor. So Yeah, that's a good. I love Maya Angelou's quotes, which is one of them
Thank
that
you.
I am. My own is when you do better, when you know better, you do better. So it's something I told my listeners will be hearing in all. That's what I go with. She has lovely quotes. Yeah, that is a good one. So I
Yes.
hope you guys listening, you are writing all these quotes down. It's a good one. All right. So I want to move on, and I want you to share with me, the key things that you feel have shaped you to be the woman you are today. I want you to share with me your struggles, your victories. Is it in health, motherhood, faith? Just, go all in.
Absolutely. I would say it's my story, my experiences,
Yeah.
because that is what has given me the resilience I have today. That's what has
Mm,
given me the courage and the bravery I have. If I hadn't gone through what I went through, I don't think I'll be this person, right?
mm,
One of the pivotal moments for me was when my sister got involved in an accident that almost claimed
mm,
her life.
mm.
And my sister was the one that told me that I was going to travel the world and speak.
Oh.
So when I saw her in that condition, I was really heartbroken. That was the first time I saw someone almost lifeless.
Mm,
The second experience was the death of my dad. My dad was the one who affirmed me. He was the one who encouraged me when I was growing up. He gave
mm.
me the permission to be myself. And so when
Yes.
he passed, that was very traumatic for me.
Mm,
Going through a divorce was another one. I was in a very toxic and physically abusive marriage, which I write about in the book, Take
mm,
Dominion. So that also shaped me because I think every experience that we have is a
mm.
lesson that God would have us learn. So
Yes.
it's never a mistake. You're never a victim of your past.
Mm,
Your past is what actually shaped you. Everything that has happened in the past actually
yes.
shaped you for the person that you are today. And
Mm,
that is my testimony. That is my story. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if I didn't
mm.
have that experience or those experiences.
Yes.
So those were the moments, even when I was a single mother, I was
Mm,
broke. Everything was just turning upside down. But those
mm,
experiences was what made me tougher. It
mm,
taught me how to be patient with myself. It taught me how to forgive myself.
mm.
Because at the end of the day, I made some choices that landed me in situations that were not pleasant. So I had to
Yes.
take ownership of that, right? I had to know that you made choices, but that's not the end of your life. You can
Mm,
actually rewrite and redesign and recreate your life. And that is what
mm.
happened for me. Human beings are God's highest creation. We're the only
Yeah.
ones that can design and change our lives. A
Mm.
fish can only be a fish. An animal can
Yes.
only be an animal. A dog can only be a dog. But
Yeah.
you and I have the ability, because we are God's highest creation, we have the ability to rewrite and recreate and design our destinies. And
Yes.
so for me, all those experiences actually made me thrive. That's what's my driving force. Because when I look back, I'm like, I thank God that happened, because
Mm.
if that didn't happen, I wouldn't know what
Yes.
I know right now. So yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just the common thing you hear about changing the lemons into lemonade. For me, I add my own
Absolutely.
extra sweet lemonade.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just one of those things we have to just, at that time we are so much in that funk, we cannot think why this is happening. But as time goes on, years goes by, some people it takes a longer time than others before discovering or knowing that why did God make that happen to me? Why? Well, maybe it's not about why is it happening. It makes you resilient, and you um, you know, it's just like how did they talk about the gold is very beautiful, and
Yeah.
it has to go through the fire and all that. And that's what, when we go through life, where we're getting refined, and this beautiful thing comes out.
Yes.
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 So, and
Totally.
not keep on staying in that level of the victim level. Have to move
Yes.
on, because we have different phases in our life, and we just have to, we don't want to just stay on that phase. We got to move on. When something happens, you lost somebody, or it's either a marriage or a job or something, of course you have the time you grieve, but after that then we have to you know and of course finding the right resources and the people and all that helps a lot. like I shared in my story as well, that one of the things that has kept me going, that I know for me shaped me big, is my faith, in my Christian faith. Even as little as I was, I just know that God was always on my side, So I think that has really helped me a lot, and leading me to the right places and the right people. So, oh, that is so good. So, what would you say, that as a woman, what would you say you are so much proud of yourself as a woman today? If I wake you at
Ooh,
night and just ask you, like, Ify, quickly.
I am proud of the woman I'm becoming, right? I've grown, I've evolved. I'm
Mm,
not the same person I was 10 years ago.
mm,
I'm not the same person I was even a few months ago. I keep evolving. And for
mm,
me, I love the person I'm becoming. I would say my greatest honor and blessing is to be serving God's people. I mean, that's my
yes.
highest, saying
Mm,
yes to my calling. Because
yes.
it's one thing to discover your purpose. It's one thing to know what your assignment is. It's another thing to say yes to that. And so
Yes.
for me, that moment when I said yes to God and yes to the assignment He
Yeah.
had in my life,
Yes.
today, my husband and I pastor a church out here in Dallas. It's called
Mm,
Revival Palace Church. It's an honor for us to do what we do. The
yes.
fact that God would entrust us with His assignment and His work for us to bless His people, for me, that
Mm,
is my greatest honor and achievement, because I love it when I'm able to help people. I love it
yes.
when I'm able to inspire, when I'm able to use my gifts to bring about change around me, when
Mm,
I'm able to um, empower someone else, with the
yes.
word of God and with words of encouragement, with my story. It is such a
Mm,
blessing. I don't think
mm,
anything surpasses that for me. I'm just so glad that I'm in tune with exactly what God wants for me.
mm. You
Yeah.
just shared the same. That was this, well, not say exactly, but similar to what for me I'm proud of. That, I'm proud that I'm using the gifts that God's given me, that my talents, I'm not hiding it under the rock. That's the way I put it.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of us going through this, and sometimes, people, and I think maybe we've discussed this before. In one of time we talked about purpose, that everybody has a purpose, and you can't say, oh, I don't have a purpose. You do have, you just have not found it. And some people, it takes a longer time for them to discover it. And so if you are listening to this today and you feel like you don't have a purpose, you don't know what in the world you are doing here, then you need to seek for mentorship, a coach. There is out there. If you want to talk to, if it can help you with that, I'm sure I could help you too. But just don't be there. You got to take control and make a move. I know it might sound morbid, but we don't know when it's our last time. Nobody knows, and you want to make use, do things like you don't have no much time.
Make every day count. Yes.
Yes, make every day count. So do something. This is to end of 2020. By the time we have this episode, it'll be 2021 when you hear it. But no, 2021, 2020 is gone. It's a new year.
Yes.
You got to
Yes.
do something. Discover your purpose this year if you haven't discovered it. Yes. Yeah. So leading to that, what are some encouraging words you want to give a woman listening to us today? What are some encouraging words would you like to give?
I'm a firm believer that you and I have dominion over all things.
Mm,
I believe that when God created us, He placed within us the power to create the life that we so desire. He
mm,
gave us the authority over everything that He created, right? We are
mm.
God's highest form of creation.
Yes.
But one thing that I've realized is that most people don't realize that they are body, soul, and spirit.
Mm,
Your spiritual DNA is perfect. That's
yes.
the God on the inside of you. That's the God on the inside of me. However, the missing link is the fact that we don't realize that we need to develop our minds. We don't realize that we have to reprogram the way that we think.
Yes.
Because when you were born into this world, right, people
Mm,
say you have an empty slate. That's
mm.
not true. I beg to differ. You don't have an empty slate
Yeah.
because you have things that were passed on to you from your
Mm,
parents. from your ancestors.
Yes.
And so you come into this world already programmed. And when you're raising a child, the environment where you're raising your child also programs that child.
Yes.
You begin to call them names, you begin to speak a certain language to them. And before you know it, that child begins to conform to the world.
Yes.
That they live in, right? But the Bible tells us not to conform. And we should what? Be transformed by the renewing of our minds.
Yes.
So the disconnection now is the fact that most people do not know that their minds are already programmed. You have a mental programming. I have a mental programming.
Yes.
And your assignment and your responsibility and my responsibility is to make sure that we reprogram. Because everything that has been passed on to us, not all of them are good.
Yes.
Some of them are actually keeping us stuck and
grounded. Oh, yes.
Right? They keep us in a cycle. We keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. It's a programming. In spite of the education we have, in spite of the money we have, in spite of the information we have, we can't seem to switch because your subconscious mind, which is, which is like the center for everything that happens in your life. Because people know what they need to do to lose weight, for example, but they don't do it. Why? Because they have a programming. Yes. They know sugar is bad, but they're still going to take it. Right? They know that fast food is not good, but they still eat it. It's the programming. Now you know better, but you don't want to do better because you have failed to reprogram and renew your mind. Now the spirit is perfect. That's the spirit of God in you that can dominate, that can take charge, but you're not taking charge because your mind has not caught up with your spirit and your body will not move until you command it.
Yes.
So we got to understand how these things play out. You are body, you are soul, and you are spirit.
Yes.
So as you build your spirit man, then you have to also renew your mind.
Yes.
So that you can begin to change the things that are not pushing you forward, the things that are not propelling you into your destiny, the things that are keeping you grounded. Those are the things you need to do. And for you to reprogram your mind, you don't go attacking the mindset you already have.
Yes.
You simply have to create a new mindset that will make the existing mindset obsolete. That's all. That's how you renew your mind all day long.
Yes.
So for anyone watching, renew your mind. That's my take on that.
Yes. Wow. That is, you got to rewind that if you are listening to it and listen to this part. That was so much wisdom and nuggets there. Yes. I mean, it's, mindset. I think with everybody I have been talking to, each of you always talk something about mindset. Mindset is big. It's everything. And one thing I said that you see people doing things in this world, making waves. And when you look at these people, you look at them that, like, I could be doing that. How come I'm not doing that? What makes you and them different? Their mindset. Some people you look, they're doing things that you feel like you even feel like you are more qualified than them. How are they doing it? They're renewing their mind, they change their mindset. That is, it's so powerful,
Absolutely.
Yeah, mindset is everything. And renewing of your mind, you have to, and you brought that and said, when you know better, you do better. Well, I mean, that's one of my mantra, but some people, they know it, but they're not doing it. But, you have to, it's kind of, they say faith without action is dead, you
Right.
believe it, okay, and then you have to walk into that, do it. Yeah.
It's easy to read a book. It's easy to listen to this podcast.
Yes.
But what is the use of listening to this if you will not apply it?
Apply
the application is the missing link.
It's
not the knowledge.
Yes.
There is so much information everywhere. You can Google anything.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, the application is proof that indeed you are assimilating what it is we're saying here.
Yes.
Because if you listen to this and you do not apply anything, it will be a waste of time and effort.
Yes. And that's why I say knowledge is power, not that applied
knowledge. Applied knowledge is power. Knowledge by itself is potential power.
Yes.
Potential. Now, applied knowledge is powerful. That will change someone's life.
Yes. That's right. So, Ify, how can people connect with you?
I'll say on Facebook, my private, not private, but my like page is Ify the Dominator. And then on Instagram is the same name, Ify the Dominator. And I also have a club, a private group on Facebook called the Dominators Club.
Yeah.
And that is where I actually bring it. It's just a group of people who are sick and tired of being dominated by conditions and situations in their lives.
Yes.
And so we come together and we brainstorm. And so that's a private page on Facebook. You have to request to be a member. And then on Instagram, of course, it's Ify the Dominator.
Okay. And do you have a website, anything coming up, projects?
I do. The website is thedominatorsclub.com. It should be live by the end of this year. So it's still in the works.
Okay. And so by the time this episode comes out, it's fully live.
Absolutely. It will be live at that time.
Yes. Okay. All right. And I know you are having a new book. Can you tell us about your new book?
Absolutely. So the new book is called The Dominator's Creed. Right? A dominator is simply someone who is in charge of their lives.
Yes.
A lot of people are not in control of their lives. They allow people and conditions, drive them.
Yes.
But this book is for the dominator, the one that knows that they should be in the driver's seat of their life.
Yes.
People that know that they can design their destiny. So the creed is more than a set of affirmations, right? It's a set of affirmations backed with understanding and action, because you need to know why you have to become a dominator.
Yes.
That is your birthright. That's who God made you to be. One of the first set of commandments that God gave man was to be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. So by birth, you are a dominator. And you just need to understand what and who a dominator is, and also the language of the dominator. So the dominator's creed is actually the language that dominators speak. Because when you hear a dominator speaking, it's different. It's a different language. They're not speaking like the masses. They're speaking with understanding, with power and authority, because they know who they are. Right? They know that they've been given dominion and power over every situation in their lives. And so they walk and they talk like that.
I want to speak that language. I'm sure our listeners want to be speaking that language. Yeah. So make sure you guys connect with Ify, and all these resources, I'm going to put them in the show notes in the podcast. And if you watch this on YouTube, it will be on the description area. Oh, wow. So Ify, thank you so much for coming today. And I know that our listeners did learn a lot of stuff today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And so this ends our episode today. And I'm going to leave with my favorite quote from Maya Angelou that says, "When you know better, you do better." And see you next time. Bye-bye.